It was one of those nights when the air feels heavier than it should. The kind of quiet that hums in your ears, where even the sound of your own breath feels too loud. Rain was falling in thin, cold sheets, sliding down the windshield like oil. The wipers kept time with the hum of the cruiser's engine, slow and steady, a heartbeat in mechanical rhythm. The clock on the dash blinked 2:03 a.m. 13 hours in a night shift. The kind of shift where every light on the dashboard feels like it's glowing just for you because no one else is left awake to see it. Morales was behind the wheel, chewing on a stick of gum that had probably lost its flavor 4 hours ago. He had the radio low, just enough to catch the static between calls. I was flipping through the logbook, half reading, half fading in and out of that fog that comes from too many empty hours and not enough caffeine. The call came through thin, half swallowed by interference. Unit 47, respond to a disturbance, unverified caller. Location, Old Haven Road, near the property line of static. Caller disconnected. Repeat, disconnected mid-transmission. Morales looked over. That's out past Route 9, yeah? Yeah, I said. Old farmland, shut down years ago. He gave a small grunt, the kind that could have meant anything. Probably thought the same as me. Kids, a break-in, maybe an animal. Routine. But there was something in Dispatch's voice. That pause before she read the address. Like she wasn't sure she should. Like she already knew we wouldn't find anything. I logged the call anyway. 2:16 a.m. Call 19 to 47. Possible disturbance, Old Haven Road. Rain picked up as we left the city limits. The streetlights ended abruptly, replaced by long stretches of black. The road narrowed, edges eaten away by mud and time. The GPS flickered twice, then glitched to a blank grid. Morales smacked the screen. Piece of junk. The radio hissed again, louder this time, a burst of static that twisted into something else, something that almost sounded like breathing. It wasn't just random noise. It had rhythm. A slow inhale, a short pause, an exhale. Too steady to be static. Dispatch, Unit 47, I said, confirm transmission. Do you copy? No answer. Just that faint hiss, then a sharp tone like a pulse. Morales lowered the volume, stared out into the dark. You hear that? He asked. Yeah. The word came out flatter than I meant. We didn't talk much after that. The rain turned to a mist, fog creeping low across the fields. The headlights caught pieces of it, making the air shimmer white. A sign passed on the right, bent, covered in moss. Haven Road. The letters barely visible through rust. The road turned to gravel, then to dirt. I marked the time again, 2:41. Morales slowed the cruiser to a crawl. The tires hissed through the mud. Out there, you could barely tell where the ground ended and the trees began. I could see the faint silhouette of a barn ahead. The roof caved in, black against the sky. Morales clicked the dash cam on. The red light blinked once. Hope this thing's recording, he muttered. The GPS froze again, coordinates spinning, then vanished. Then the radio flicked to life on its own. Unit 47, the voice dragged, metallic, distant. It was our own call sign, but not Dispatch's voice. Slower, off-pitch. I looked at Morales. He mouthed silently. You heard that too? Before I could answer, the radio popped. A sound like whispering filled the cabin. Too soft to make out words, but there were words there. Layered, wet, human. Then it stopped. A soft tap came from the roof. One, then another, then a third. 3 taps. A pause. Then again, slower this time. Morales turned off the lights. Let's just listen, he said quietly. The world outside went black, except for the glow from the dashboard painting our faces red. The tapping stopped. Rain started again, heavier, drowning the silence. I thought maybe it was just branches, but the trees were too far off the road. Then, faintly through the rain, I heard it. A metallic rattle, like a chain dragging on concrete. Then something else. A voice. Not clear, but enough to freeze me. A single word stretched too long to be natural. Stop. Morales leaned forward, peering through the windshield. You see that? At the edge of the headlights, barely visible through the fog, something moved. Just for a second. A shape, gray against the gray. Could have been a person. Could have been nothing. The camera's red light flickered again, then turned off by itself. The radio clicked. The display blinked once, letters garbled, then cleared. A new message scrolled across the small green screen. No ID, no signal source. Just 2 words. Call received. I checked the log. There was no active call in the system. Our last dispatch was 20 minutes ago. What the hell does that mean? Morales whispered. The screen blinked again. The words stayed. The cruiser's interior lights flickered once, twice. Then the radio whispered again, so faintly I thought I imagined it. A voice different now. Slow, strained, almost behind the static. Don't leave the car. Morales reached for the door handle. I grabbed his arm before he could open it. We sat there, motionless, watching the fog press closer, swallowing the road, the trees, everything. The tapping started again. But this time it was coming from inside. We finally forced ourselves to move. Engine groaned. Headlights cutting slivers through the mist that hung thick and low like smoke. I kept the radio keyed, fingers trembling slightly on the mic. Dispatch. Unit 47 on scene. I said, though the signal was weak, broken. Only static answered. The barn loomed ahead, warped and skeletal, the roof sagging, wood rotten. Rain pooled in the hollows, reflecting dim strips of light like black mirrors. Every step toward it felt heavier than the last. Mud sucked at the boots. Morales scanned the perimeter with his flashlight, the beam trembling. Shadows flinched, as if the night itself was moving just out of reach. I felt the weight of it, the emptiness pressing from the edges, the silence waiting. Footsteps behind me? No, just the gravel shifting. Or maybe the wind. Or maybe something following. The barn doors creaked as we pushed them open, slow and wet. Inside, it smelled of rot and oil, something metallic underneath. My flashlight illuminated shapes, overturned tools, broken cages, the glint of glass shards. The sound of water dripping somewhere in the rafters was punctuated by a low thump from the far corner. Morales moved closer, calling out, "Hello? Anyone here?" Only echoes answered. My radio flickered, static dancing over the speakers. Then a faint voice, distorted, low. 47, help? I froze, fingers tightening around the flashlight. Morales heard it too. He tried the mic, but it only crackled. The beam caught something. A smear on the floor, dark and wet. Not water. Blood? Couldn't tell. Then movement, shadows slipping between the beams of light. Quick, impossible. My heart hammered, but the recording camera kept rolling, the red light a small, constant pulse in the dark. Every sound exaggerated. The drip of water, the distant crack of a broken beam, the rustle of debris under an unseen weight. Time started to distort. My watch ticked seconds, then minutes, then blurred. The radio now whispered fragments of our own conversation, repeating, stretched, garbled. Move slow, back out. We found footprints in the mud outside, too deep, irregular as if someone or something had dragged itself. No other tracks. We tried to call dispatch again. The static rose, high-pitched, then fell silent. The camera captured the flicker of movement at the edges of the light. Morales pointed. A figure, pale, crouched near the far wall. Not moving, not breathing, or at least not visibly. I tried to approach. The air grew colder, every breath visible, mist curling up like smoke. The figure blinked, or I thought it did, but then it vanished. Nothing there, just shadows and the smell of wet wood. Footsteps echoed behind us in the loft above. We climbed cautiously. The beams creaked under our weight. Then the floor shifted like someone had stepped wrong, and Morales' flashlight swung up to a dark corner. The shape dropped silently, almost onto us before vanishing. The radio hissed again, now full of bursts, whispers, low murmurs repeating fragments of our own voices. The barn's interior seemed alive. Tom didn't follow normal rules. A sound would come before the movement, or a shadow would linger longer than it should. Then I heard it clearly, a single, sharp scream, distant yet inside the walls, inhuman, filled with despair. Morales' flashlight wavered. He reached for me. Then nothing. Silence, heavy and oppressive. I turned, and he was gone. No sound, no shadow, no sign. Only the faint drip of water somewhere far above, and the camera recording the empty floorboards. My heart beat loud in my ears. I called his name into the radio, into the barn, into the rain, but no answer. Then a new sound, soft scratching, wet, just at the edge of the light, circling the room, impossible to locate. My flashlight flickered. 1 second it caught movement to the left, then right, then nothing. The barn seemed to shift around me. Walls closer, further, shadows twisting. And then, through the crackling radio, a single word, elongated, distorted, alone. My breath caught. The recording camera tilted slowly on its own, red light blinking. And from somewhere above, from the loft, a final sound, a metallic clatter, followed by a muffled, choking scream. Silence fell. The rain outside had stopped. Only the mist remained, pressing against the windows, hiding everything. I don't know how long I stood there, flashlight shaking, trying to convince myself Morales had just slipped somewhere, hiding, playing some cruel joke, but the barn had changed. The walls were too dark, the shadows too deep, like they had swallowed the light, like the building itself had grown teeth and lungs. The air pressed in around me, heavy, wet, smelling of mud, rust, and something I couldn't name, a stink that crawled under my skin, cold and sticky. My boots squelched in water pooling on the floor, the sound deafening in the unnatural silence that had fallen. The rain had stopped outside. The only noise came from the building itself. Creaks, groans, the soft scuttling of something moving just beyond my vision. Every shadow felt alive. Every corner seemed closer than it should have been. I felt eyes on me, unseen, patient, waiting. I tried to convince myself it was my imagination, fatigue and stress from 12 hours on the road, the fog of coffee and adrenaline, but the subtle tremor in the air told me otherwise. I stepped carefully toward the far corner, camera rolling, red light blinking steadily, recording everything. The lens caught particles in the air, dust, or something else, and the beam of my flashlight carved shallow shadows that stretched and warped like they were moving independently. I reached the corner and froze. A faint hum began, vibrating through the floor, through the air, through my chest. It was subtle at first, almost musical, a low tone under the steady beat of my heart. The radio crackled violently, then whispered, impossibly close, "Help! Unit 47, my stomach dropped." It was Morales' voice, or it used his voice, mimicked it but wrong, stretched, drawn out, layered over itself. My fingers shook as I tried the mic, but only static responded. I called his name out loud. The sound echoed, warped, bouncing off the walls in impossible directions, coming back slower, then faster, layered. No answer. I stumbled backward, slipping in mud, scraping my hands along splintered wood. The flashlight's beam flickered, too weak to illuminate anything clearly. Then movement. Just at the edge of the beam, a shadow slid across the wall. I swung the flashlight, but it vanished. Each swing revealed nothing. Then glimpses, too fast to focus, of a form tall, thin, impossibly elongated, pale, and faceless. I tried to step forward, but the air thickened, resisting, pressing against me, bending around my legs, slowing me down. The hum rose into a roar, vibrating the floorboards, rattling my chest. The radio hissed in bursts, repeating fragments of our own voices. "Move, back now." My breathing grew loud, ragged, filling the entire space, echoing unnaturally, bouncing back warped and unfamiliar. My heart felt like it would burst from my chest. Then the figure appeared more clearly, emerging from the darkness. It didn't step. It glided, unnaturally smooth, silent, as if weightless. Its head tilted slowly toward me. Black void, where features should be. I wanted to run. My legs refused. Every step forward felt like wading through syrup. Time fractured. Seconds stretched, then collapsed, looping over themselves. My watch spun wildly, clock hands blurred. Shadows moved independently of objects. The barn wasn't a barn anymore. It was a cage, shifting around me. The camera in my hand wouldn't power on. The screen stayed dark. I tried to call Morales again. Nothing. The voice from before repeated, now inside my ear, clear and impossible. You should not have come. My stomach dropped. My reflection in a puddle showed my eyes wide. Pale, full of terror, but below my shoulders, my body seemed wrong, twisted, stretched like the barn itself had warped me. I reached out, trembling, and the figure leaned closer. My knees gave out. The floorboards splintered beneath me. Or was it an illusion? And a cold, wet pressure gripped my chest. I gasped, the air sucked out of my lungs. The hum on the floor became a roar, synchronized to my heartbeat. I could hear the static, voices, the echoes of myself screaming layered over and over. I don't know how long this lasted. Minutes, hours, or eternity. I had no sense of time. My vision flickered between black, red, and gray. The figure loomed above me, stretching taller, leaning closer, faceless, omnipresent. The red recording light blinked once, twice, then went dark. My own voice came back to me, distorted through the radio, slowed, elongated, layered, almost a warning. Forever. The air seemed to shiver. I reached for the camera, but it fell from my hands, rolling across the floor, and the lens caught a fleeting glimpse of the loft. Empty, yet somehow moving. The dripping of water was louder now, echoing unnaturally, though the roof was intact. Then silence. The figure was gone, or maybe I was gone. I was alone. The barn was still. The walls had returned to themselves. Mud underfoot, tools scattered. Nothing moved. My flashlight lay shattered, the lens cracked. The camera was face down in a puddle. I tried to breathe. It hurt. The static from the radio hissed, faint, almost reassuring. Then a single distorted voice, far away, but unmistakable, not alone. I froze. Footsteps? Or something heavier, dragging. The sound circled, far to near, near to far. I could not place it. And then, the last thing before I could even react, a metallic scrape along the floorboards, slow, deliberate behind me. I dare not look. The world itself held its breath. I don't remember leaving the barn. I must have run, or crawled, or fallen. Time and distance no longer meant anything. The rain had returned, cold, wet, hitting my face, soaking my clothes, blurring the line between outside and inside, reality and hallucination. The road back was empty, silent, and yet I felt it behind me, pacing, patient, waiting. The GPS flickered again, showing coordinates that didn't exist, blinking red over black squares. My radio crackled, faintly at first, then louder. Static whispers, Morales' voice distorted, calling my name over and over, overlapping itself. I tried to respond, but my mouth would not work. I could not speak. The cruiser was still at the bend, headlights off, engine cold. The camera was gone, vanished from the floor of the barn. Every attempt to call in or mark my location failed. The devices would not respond. I walked or drifted or was pulled. I can't say which, past the old fields, over the gravel road, toward the city that felt unreal, distant. Shadows twisted where they shouldn't, trees bending at angles that defied logic. The static from the radio became words, clear, urgent, repeating like a mantra. Do not return. Do not call. Do not look back. I stumbled through the mist. Every familiar landmark had shifted or was missing entirely. It was as if the world itself had folded in on the farm, leaving only this warped corridor I was trapped in. The streetlights flickered once, twice, then died, leaving the night darker than any natural shadow could make it. And then I heard it behind me, the scrape, the whisper, the slow, deliberate steps of something that shouldn't exist. I dare not turn. My breath froze in my chest, lungs burning. The fog closed in, thick as smoke, hiding the world, hiding time. Every instinct screamed to run, but my legs felt heavier with every heartbeat. The distorted voice came again, through the radio, through the air, through my own mind. You are not alone. I screamed into the night, but it was swallowed, echoed back as something else, my own voice slow, distorted, pleading, crying. The air shifted. A figure materialized, a pale silhouette stretching impossibly, faceless, gliding closer, closer, folding space around itself. I dropped to my knees, gasping, covering my face, praying it was a hallucination. And then, just as suddenly, silence. Only the sound of rain, distant, faint, almost comforting. When morning came, or what I think was morning, I was alone on the roadside. The barn was gone, replaced by field and mist. No trace of Morales, the cruiser, or the camera. My hands were scraped, clothes soaked, boots caked in mud. I tried to report, tried to call dispatch, but all lines were dead, all signals erased. Only the log remained. Call 19 to 47, Old Haven Road. Responding officer missing. Equipment lost. Time unknown. I recorded what I could, typed, uploaded, but files disappeared from the system overnight. The dashcam, the radio, the reports, all gone, except what I saved to my personal device. And then the alert came. A new call, same location. Old Haven Road. Unknown source. Timestamp, 2:16. The coordinates matched nothing on any map. I played the recording again. Static. Whispers. My own voice, stretched, twisted, calling out. Unit 47, do not leave. The feed cut mid-sentence, frozen on the green glow of the radio, leaving nothing but the sound of rain, the hum of the world, and the sense that it had never ended.